Hello, my name is Michael Garrick, and this is Popping Culture Movie Reviews. My guest today is comedian Kirkland Madding. He's a hilarious comedian from Greenville, but he does shows all over the Southeast. If you get a chance, definitely check him out. Very funny comedian. Thank you so much for coming on to the movie review.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate you having me.
No problem, man. The movie that we'll be reviewing is Back to the Future. Kirkland chose the movie. Before we get into it, this will be a 100% spoiler review. But before we spoil the movie, Kirkland, do you think they should watch it?
Oh man, it's a must see for sure, man.
Yeah,
One of the best.
I totally agree. I agree. Um, all right, guys. Everything past this point is 100% spoilers. I'll let you kick it off, man.
Well, I can't imagine first of all somebody uh who hasn't seen this movie clicking on this and going, he said I should watch it. Maybe I should check it out. I don't think that's happening. I don't think we're spoiling anything for anybody. If you ain't seen it by now, man, it's past time. But yeah, man, this movie growing up was like everything. I watched it. What was your movie growing up where you just watched it on loop all the time and annoyed the shit out of everybody?
I grew up a Jehovah's Witness, so when it came to movies, I didn't see many, and I wasn't allowed. Like, there's no moment where I watch movies over and over again. It's whatever came on ABC Family. So I guess it would be Remember the Titans.
Oh man, yeah. Well, that's another one. Man, I actually just watched that 2 days ago with my girlfriend's little cousins. Man, that is a incredible movie.
Yeah, it was shot really well.
Yeah, it's incredible. But Back to the Future, man, that was that movie where I mean, it got the point because we were watching on VHS, and dude, it got the point where it's like, man, we're gonna burn this thing up. Just constantly over and over. As soon as it would end, hit rewind, go make a sandwich, wait 15 minutes, come back. I think it's done rewinding now. Hit play and watch it again. I mean, it was just incredible.
Yes, I can legit remembering a lot of kids like wanting to be Marty McFly.
Oh, dude, of course. Who wouldn't want to be?
Yeah.
But going back and watching it now, like at the age I am now, instead of being 5, I realized he's not like the popular guy in school. He's actually like kind of the outcast in a way.
Yes, he's the guy
Yeah.
that hangs out with the weird scientist fellow.
Yeah. For no reason. Like that John Mulaney bit where it doesn't even explain why they're hanging out or what's going on. Like, who is he? He's not related to him. Like, what's he doing just hanging out with this old guy?
But in the story, it just goes along and makes sense.
Yeah,
Um, I think it's one of those things where when they don't explain it, it makes the story better than trying to explain it.
exactly. Because the
Uh,
explanation only make it worse because it's
yes,
not any sense.
exactly.
Right.
Um, how much do you know about this movie? Do you know any like the behind the scenes things?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you
Definitely.
do
Go
you
ahead.
think they should have kept the first actor?
No, definitely not. And that's got to be a hard choice to make. But just from the stuff that I've watched and seen, nobody really was vibing with him. And according to like the director and the writer of the movie, um, he was just not a good fit. Like he wasn't delivering it the way they wanted to. He wasn't a comedic style actor. And Michael J. Fox was on Family Ties at the
Yep,
time.
had to shoot
So
them back to back.
right, right. And so like he was, he had that comedic timing because he had the experience. And that other guy, I don't think he really had it yet. So I can't imagine it being anybody else but him.
Yeah. All I remember, and this last thing we'll say about that actor, I forgot his name just that quick, but
Yeah.
like I can see somebody being like, all right, man, they got a better guy for that movie. But when that sequel and the third one came out, like that's the only time where it's like that's a gut punch hard. Like
You ain't lying.
I had an opportunity and I
Mm-hmm.
like just to have to see because it's not like one movie, all right, 3 years later, we don't really talk about it's like this is a trilogy
Mm-hmm.
that I could have been in and it's gone. And I'm watching it everywhere.
Of all time. One of the bigs of all time, especially.
Yeah, give it up to him for not killing himself. But
I'll give it up. Seriously.
yeah,
Yeah, dude. I mean, just a terrible thing. Oh, that's like Will Smith in The Matrix.
Yeah,
He was supposed to play Neo, and he's got to sit there and watch him do 3 movies in a row. Keanu Reeves.
hey, do you know the movie he passed up? You know what movie he chose to do besides The Matrix?
Wild Wild West.
Oh my god!
What a mistake.
But could you
It's hard to get to
imagine?
it when that movie's bombing, and then The Matrix is just killing it.
Deep inside, I would love to see Will Smith in The Matrix, just
Oh,
because at that point in his career, he had to have a music video with every movie, and I would love to see a music video for The Matrix. They get jiggy
I
with it.
want to. I want to know what song it would be. That would be awesome.
It would have been one of the most funniest thing ever to see
Hey,
those
Russell.
PlayStation 2 graphics dancing with him. It would have been perfect, man.
You know what? He still would have killed it. Like I can't imagine Back to the Future without Michael J. Fox, but I
Yeah.
could actually see the Matrix with Will Smith. I don't mind it not being Keanu Reeves. It doesn't bother me. I can
It's not
see Will.
it's not the same movie.
I think you're right, but I would love to see it. I wouldn't want to see the Back to the Future without him, but I would want to see the Matrix with Will Smith.
It does. I don't know. I just feel like it becomes a comedy, but I get it. I
Yeah,
agree. I would
it
do.
might
I
be.
mean, I would want to see it. Just see
Yeah.
Will Smith be like, "You want me to jump where?"
He just the whole time going, "What the hell is this movie about? Anybody know what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
What are all these numbers? What are these green numbers flying by my face for? What's going on?"
I could be doing the Wild Wild West right now,
Yeah, I could be
but
jumping off horses and shit.
exactly. But like you said, people have seen this movie, so I agree. We're probably not spoiling it for anybody. But when it
Yeah,
came to the intro of this movie, the
right.
power of love,
Ooh, yeah.
that is like ingrained in my brain.
Mm,
Like I love that song with a passion. And I think that was the
absolutely.
best intro song for almost any movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I mean, there's a lot of see. I think that's a good point. First of all, because it made me think about all my favorite movies have great soundtracks too. I think, and there's always a song that rep. You hear a song on the radio and you go, "Oh, that's the song from this movie," or you know what I mean. And that song is that it's nothing else but that's the Back to the Future song. You know what I mean? Like that's just it.
Yes.
And it's perfect. Yeah. I mean, that's such a I mean, the skateboard comes in and hits the thing and they got the clocks going and he blows up the amplifier and then Power of Love comes on and then he's skateboarding through that small town and dude, it's just a great scene. Those old Nike shoes. That's the thing that sticks out in my head the most is those old Nike shoes. I'm like, man, those are badass. I wish
Yeah.
I had a pair.
Yeah. I'm sure if you find them online, man, somebody's selling those retros somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the ones from the second movie that did the power laces or whatever, and they made those.
For 1,500.
Oh, that's okay. I don't have Akon money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. uh how did you like the introduction of the principal and his girlfriend?
um, it's pretty solid. The only thing I will say, well, they actually might even say it in the movie. That principal when you see him and he's calling him a slacker and all that stuff. When you see him in 1955, they didn't do any makeup or get a different actor. He's just the same. He looks 30 years later. He's the same person. They didn't even try.
Yeah.
And said, like, I always thought that was interesting. But that actually might have been a joke in the movie where it's like, God, he looks the exact same.
Yeah.
But his girlfriend was smoking. That's for sure. That was like
Yes.
a crush I had from a very young age before I even knew what was going on.
Me too. It was her and Topanga. Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
dude.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Religion.
For any black women that see this, there's a lot more black women too. I don't want Kirkland, you don't understand what I'm saying right now, but just know that it's important that I express.
Oh no. Oh, I had a crush on like Lisa Turtle from Saved by the Bell.
Yes.
Yeah. And one of the girls from that show Living Single. You know what I'm
All
talking
of
about?
them. All of them. All of them.
Yeah.
All of them fine. All of them fine.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
way more crushes on living singles than I did on Friends.
dude. Oh God, yeah. I mean, there was Jennifer Aniston, but other than that, I was never into the other two.
Yeah, I got to finally see her. You know she was in that horrible Leprechaun movie.
Oh yeah, dude. I've never seen it, but I
Uh,
saw during Halloween, this past Halloween, I saw somebody talking about it. I was like, what is she doing there?
yeah, don't watch it, man. But
Yeah, but yeah,
everybody's got to start somewhere.
that's a hot take is don't watch Leprechaun 4, whatever it is.
Um, uh, sorry, we keep bouncing everywhere, but the the pacing of this movie, I believe, is what makes it so great because it doesn't rush you in. It explains almost everything that needs to be explained, and it's never a beat of silence. There's never a point where it doesn't go from like boom, boom, boom. And I think that's one of the best things about this movie.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's so I feel like they let the overarching plot of the story be simple because they know there's so many intricate, detailed things in the dialogue that are coming later that they don't want to, give you too much. Like keep this simple, but everything inside of it that's actually important, we're gonna fill it with all these little details. I mean, you're right. You can't miss a sentence almost in that movie
Yeah.
because it's all connected,
Yep.
and you'll see it later. You know.
Exactly. When it comes to Doc, you meet him, they tell you everything you need to know, and then he gets murdered.
Right. By the terrace.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is like one of the first times I've ever seen like a character that's supposed to be so important just like die.
Right.
Like, and then like it's like for that split second, the first time I watched it, I was like, oh yeah, that's right, I can go back in time. But it was just that moment of like,
Like what's going on? Yeah.
yeah,
Like
like
well, is it like the credits are gonna start rolling now? Like oh, it was a short film. It was 15 minutes. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I'm trying to think if there's another. I mean, there can't be another example of that unless you have time travel to lean on.
Yeah, like the only other movie I can think of is like a Hitchcock movie where they had to switch main characters, but that's it.
Oh, you're right. Like Psycho.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that
the
girl.
movie. Yep.
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly right. But that threw me off when I watched Psycho because I was sitting there because you always see that famous scene. And the first time I actually watched it, I was like, wait, what the hell? Like, that's the main person.
Exactly.
And yeah. But yeah, I mean, God, that movie's so great because they had to do that so the ending would make sense, And oh, man, that movie's great.
Yeah, I agree. When it comes to him having to deal, like his father having to deal with a bully that bullied him his whole life, and then you go back and find out like it's the it's the same story beat, but it's mixed well. I think that's like clever writing and clever acting where it could just look the same, but just that little switch of dialogue makes it different.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the biggest. Honestly, that's basically what the whole movie's about is Marty trying to get his father to basically man up. I mean, he doesn't. Marty changes his life like this much. He's kind of the person he is. Like the person Marty is basically who he ends up being at the end anyway. He already had his morals and he already knew what was right and wrong. His dad's the one that probably had the most dramatic change of anybody.
Yeah, Marty
I mean,
just trying to stay alive.
that's it. That's all he's trying to do. He's just trying to, you know, make his picture not disappear and that. And you know what I didn't understand was how come Marty's not the first one to disappear? Why is it
Yo, you're
sister?
right. That is a
'Cause,
that's a solid plot hole.
yeah, I never understood that part, but I thought I was missing something. But anyway, um, yeah, the only other thing too that didn't make sense was why does he keep Biff around at all when he's a nerd or when he's successful? Why would you keep him around? Like he's a terrible person. He hates you, bullying you. He tried to do unspeakable things to your wife at one point in time. Like,
Yeah,
why would you keep this guy around your house so closely?
yeah.
Yeah, you're
Uh,
right, man. Like, it's
the
very
plot
important.
the plot says so.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
right. Right, because we wrote it.
yes. But like, yeah, it's a lot of Easter eggs in this movie. Uh, how to go back to the soundtrack. It leads back up to um, Chuck Berry,
Oh yeah.
where now Marty McFly is the guy that made that
Uh,
sound pop.
yeah.
Uh,
Right. Instead of
uh,
it being,
yeah,
it was Marty.
yeah,
Yeah, that's right. And that's like he's well now Marty McFly is basically Elvis.
yeah.
Yeah. He just he took a black artist's masterpiece and then made it his own, and now he gets all the credit and money for it. So Marty McFly is basically taking the credit for something a black man did. Yeah, I've heard that. That is kind of messed up.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's just like it didn't matter. Plus, it was cool
Yeah,
to see the young mayor and once he was older.
you're right.
Yeah, so that
Oh
was
yeah, yeah, Goldie. That's his
yeah,
name. Yeah,
yeah, Goldie. That's right. That's right.
that's one of my favorite parts of that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that because I mean, honestly, I wanted more Goldie. The guy who
yes,
played him, incredible.
yeah, great timing.
Yeah, great timing. He was really funny, and yeah, he was right on it.
Yeah, I mean to
Okay,
ask you in the beginning, but I'll ask you now. Did this movie make you want to have a skateboard?
absolutely, absolutely, and I did, and
Oh, okay.
I was so bad at it. I'm great hot garbage. My uncle builds skate parks for a living. He built one here in Greenville that Bob Burnquist came and skated in when it grand opened. Like he's really good at it. And so he took me to one of his skate parks that he built and was trying to show me like how to drop in.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, I was up on I had the board ready to go to drop in on the ramp, and he was holding my hand. He was like, "I'm gonna let go when you go forward, and you'll be all right. Don't worry." And I stood there, and I'm not kidding, for an hour and a half and cried and never attempted to go down it. We just left. I was bad. But in my defense, I was 18 years old. So I mean, it was a really hard.
There's nothing wrong with that, buddy. You ended up well. It all worked out. It all worked
Yeah.
out. Uh, when you saw um old Doc and then you meet young Doc, of course it's the same actor. It doesn't change in age or anything. But
Yeah.
do you like how quick? Like I feel like it was kind of like the way they dealt with it in Avengers Endgame. It was just like you're meeting your younger self. I mean, you're meeting someone that knows your older self, and it's just like, all right, tell me stuff that only I would know. And it's like, all right, I should believe you. Uh,
Right. Right. Yeah.
there's no reason for me not to.
It is funny when you see stuff like that in it, where they're
Yeah.
like looking at their younger self and they're like, tell me something on it. Are you looking at me? I'm you. Okay. Like there's no who else would I be? Like, how am I gonna look identical? That is always funny when what would you say to yourself if that happened? Something
Uh,
that no.
can't
What
say it
would you
on my podcast. Can't say that. But once I told myself it, they would be like, "All right, what you need?"
that is such a good point because in movies and stuff, they're always like, remember that time you broke your arm and oh man, Apple's garage or something? And it's like, oh yeah. Yeah, my first thought was like, oh, I can't say this around other people. I had to whisper it to myself.
Yeah,
Like, and yeah, it wouldn't be as kid friendly.
yeah, same here, same here. I think as soon as my younger self saw me do this, like, "Hey, okay, I got you."
Oh, yep, yep, yep.
Yeah, yeah, I believe you. Don't we don't need to. Let's not remind each other of what we did.
Hey, come here, come here. What are you doing? Why are you saying
Yeah,
that out loud? What are you
yeah,
doing?
yeah. So I
I
didn't
know.
get any smarter throughout these years. I'm still just saying stupid stuff. All right.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and also, there's another. This is a really weird. This might not make sense, but something else that I thought about. So, like when Marty's in the future, his future self is sitting there, trying to play the guitar because you learned that like his fingers and stuff got messed up in a car crash, right? Would his future self not automatically go, "Oh my God, I'm having a memory of seeing myself doing this, and I'm here"? Like, would he really be surprised that his younger self's in the future? Because wouldn't he already have these memories that, oh yeah, I went to the future? Because it's happening to his younger self right then.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh no, it's a plenty. Whenever they do time stories, that's why I like the creators of Rick and Morty. They're like, we don't do time stories. Like, We
Yeah.
don't want to answer these questions. We don't want to have to like write and then rewrite. It's like it's just different dimensions. Like so, it's that's the art of the beast when it comes to time stories. Like I go back to Avengers Endgame. Tony Stark literally created time travel in 3 minutes.
He just decided, you know what, I'm going to put my mind to it for 3 minutes, and I'll figure it out.
He's been Iron Man for 3 movies. Why would I judge him now?
Right? I'm not questioning this, fictional Elon Musk. I'm not gonna question this guy. Like, he knows what he's doing. Yeah, dude. Oh, you brought up Rick and Morty.
Yes.
I mean, that's Back to the Future right there. I mean, if they hadn't have made Rick Morty's grandfather, it would be the same thing.
Yes. They started as a Back to the Future parody on like some website, I think Funny or Die. And it was very raunchy though.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, but they look just like Back to the Future.
Oh, okay. You know what? I
Yeah.
think I remember seeing something about that, like Dan Harmon talking about that. Yeah, I think that's what it was. 'Cause, I mean, his name's Morty, and then
Yep.
there's Marty, so
Yep.
it's like pretty much the same thing right there.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, that movie. I mean, like, there's a part of the movie where it's Twin Pines Mall,
Yep.
and run up there, and then when he goes back in the past, he runs over one of the pines, and then he goes back to the past, and it's Pine Mall or whatever. So it's not two, it's one, because he ran over one of the pines, and it's like little stuff I would have never caught if the internet wasn't telling me about it.
Yeah, me either. Me either. Uh, like I said, I watched the movie yesterday for the review, and one scene that I forgot, which is funny now because I don't know how I forgot it. But do you remember when he first goes to the Back to the Future and he ends up in that barn?
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought that was clever the way he looked like somebody from outer space, or the way someone at that time period would think
yeah,
that's how someone would look from outer
right.
space.
And the door opens up like those, what do they call it, suicide doors, or is that rainbow or butterfly doors or whatever?
Way too broke.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have no idea
But
what the answer is.
that door comes up though. It's like a spaceship, a DeLorean. Terrible car, first of all, but
Why?
um,
What's so bad about this car? Nobody tells me why this is a bad car.
broke down all the time. They didn't work. Like, even when they were shooting the movie, they were getting pissed off because the cars weren't doing what they were supposed to do. The John DeLorean who made those cars, he something really bad happened to him. I think he even went to jail, or he just went bankrupt. It was something. But a lot of his downfall had to do with these cars, I'm pretty sure, because they were just awful.
That explains why half of this car is digital. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much, because they couldn't get it to work. They had several of the cars for different reasons, and it wouldn't work hardly at all. Like, it was terrible. Like, the gear shift would stick all the time, and it would just cut off. And yeah, it was a terrible car. Oh, I heard a story one time actually of Johnny Carson. He had one of the. It was like he had like the very first DeLorean or the second one or something. The first time he drove it, he left his house. He had to call. He had to like walk a few miles to a payphone to call somebody to pick him up because it broke down 15 minutes outside his house.
I may be stupid, but like I'm hearing all this negative stuff, but like I still want one.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to have one to just be a lawn ornament outside. Like, it would be cool to have. I don't want to
Nah,
drive it.
I'm going. No, if I get rich, I'm getting it. It's gonna be like I forgot whatever hat Batman has, where it just circles around.
Yeah. He's got the Lazy Susan
Yeah,
with the yeah, the
that's the
cave.
name of it. That's what it's called, Lazy Susan.
It's more like
No, we're sticking with Lazy Susan. Don't worry about it. That's
there's like a thing that you put food on. They call it a Lazy Susan. So if you want to pass it to somebody, you turn the little table with the food on it, and that's what I always say. That's a Lazy Susan.
best believe. But if I get one, that's what it's called. I don't care if they be like, no, this no, don't correct me. Put the Lazy
Yeah.
Susan.
Imagine the person who invented it. They called it Lazy Susan, and they're like, can we just? How about just Susan? No, you're being lazy right now. We got to call it Lazy Susan.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Uh, uh, we get to the end of the movie,
Yeah.
and that just because you don't really think about the clock. It's you see it in the beginning of the movie, you see it in the middle of the movie. That time, they show the square of that town a lot, but it wasn't to
Yeah.
the end till you realize like, Oh no, this plays a big part into this movie.
Yeah,
How did you feel about the ending?
man. I'll be honest. I don't think there's a more exciting. It's more like a family adventure movie.
Hmm.
There's, I mean, it's hard to pick a movie that's a better, more exciting family ending to an adventure movie ever. I mean, it's just so like I've seen it a million times, and I still kind of like go, "All right, man, come on, grab onto it." You know, when Doc's trying to grab the and he's trying to put it together, I'm like, "Come on, man, come on, like get it together now." You know, like I know the ending, but I'm still like on the edge of my seat. And yeah, I mean, and then when he comes back around running up the dock because he has to go back again,
Yep.
and like everything just comes together so perfectly in that movie. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Um, at the end of the movie, the direct end of the movie, I truly, truly didn't. I didn't think it would be a sequel till like the complete ending of the movie. Like I didn't think they would
Yeah,
set this up like up to the end. I just didn't suspect the ending of a movie that was like, okay, let's set up another one.
yeah, yeah. And I always wondered if that's what they were. I don't know the answer to this question. You might. I don't know if they did that planning on there being a second one, or if it was supposed to be like a little, or if it was supposed to be like a little cute thing at the end where it's like, they're off to another adventure, but we don't get to see that one. Or if they were really like, no, there's going to be two of these things for sure. Like people are going to love it.
I always treat it like non-Marvel movies where it's like if we make enough money, we can make another one.
Oh, absolutely. It don't matter what it is.
Yeah.
It could be anything, and they'll make another one.
Yeah,
I
because
mean, it really had to be a Big Mama's house too. Probably not, but it made enough money where I watched the second one. I mean,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I loved the first one, so I'm gonna watch the second one.
Yep. They did
But
it.
that future thing was perfect. I mean, how it led into the next movie, and the second one's actually probably my favorite. I
Me too.
love the first, but the
Me,
second one's my favorite.
me
Yeah.
too. Me too. And you never really hear that when it comes to sequels.
No, no, very rarely. Absolutely.
Like I like the second Matrix way more than I like the first one. Just because
Absolutely.
they were like, you know what, let's stop talking. And I was like, yes, this is a way better movie now because they know just to fight each other.
That's exactly right. That's what I'm talking about. That's what
Yeah.
everybody wants.
Yeah. Yeah. We all know the story doesn't make sense. But let's stop. He's the Neo is backwards to one. Yeah, that's clever. Yeah, yeah. Nobody
Oh,
has
good.
dyslexia. It's just okay. If I'm pronouncing it right, I probably pronounced it wrong, but
Hey, how mean is that, by the way, to have a word like dyslexia for people who can't already spell or see words correctly? You made it the hardest word ever. That's mean. That's like the word lisp. What do you have? Have a lisp. That's mean, dude. Don't put an S and a P right there. Call it
please,
something else.
please make that a bit, buddy.
That's mean.
Yeah, make that a bit, buddy. Trust me, that's good. Uh,
Oh
listen,
man.
yeah. Um, so we went over pacing, we went over the soundtrack. Um, when it comes to the character development you spoke about, uh, it truly is everybody else. It's not Marty, but when it comes to the character you think changed the most, besides the father, who do you feel like had a big change when it came to character development?
Probably his girlfriend. Because from movie 1 to 2, it was two different people. So she changed the most.
You win. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
No, but in all
yeah.
seriousness,
That Aunt Viv moment. Yeah.
yeah, the Aunt Viv moment. Oh man, I love that episode. By the way, Fresh Prince.
Yes.
When when somebody walks in and goes, "Does she seem different to you?" And he just like stares at the camera.
Yeah. When that was Jazz. Jazz was like,
Yeah, yeah. It's something seemed different.
yeah, just threw him out right afterwards. Like, all right. Yes.
Yeah. Who did? Who do you think changed the most? That's a great question.
Uh, I would have to agree it is the dad. Like I said, when it came to Biff, he treated him a little bit nicer, but it wasn't like
Yeah.
altogether like quick change, in my opinion.
Right. he was like forced to change,
Yeah.
but not his own journey of learning a lesson. It was more just like, well, he has the money now. I got to be nice to him, or else I don't get paid.
Yeah. For me
You
to
know,
survive, I need to be his friend.
right, right. And I mean, that sucks. I wonder if kids are even going to identify with that kind of a story in the future, because they do all these things now where it's like you can't bully, and if you bully a little bit, I mean, you're in serious trouble, getting sent home and all this stuff. I wonder if people will always identify the bully and the good guy thing, or if that's going to start to change.
My stepson in daycare, he's almost 4. They take pictures of the kids now and they send them to us. And long story short, he's a big 3-year old, almost 4-year old, and he was playing with this kid, and the kid hit him on his thigh, and my stepson slapped him, and they called us, and I guess they said bullying. And when we got up there, the little kid was like, no, we were playing, I hit him and then he hit me back. So I think we really gotta like watch how we use the word bullying when like it could just
Yeah.
be playing. So I only know for this age, like he's a kid now, so like I don't know as he gets older if we can classify bullying, but like right now, I think like just when they throw out the word bullying, we definitely gotta do our research before we actually like call
Yeah,
it bullying. So that's just my own personal experience right now.
absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with you because, yeah, I mean, people are too quick to jump to those conclusions and label things. And yeah, I haven't seen it, when I was in high school. I'll be completely honest. I didn't see true bullying myself. Now I know there was probably people who did experience it in some way or another, but I never saw it myself. Like there was never like in a movie that one kid everybody knows, oh, that's the bully. Like just get out of his way when he walks down the hallway. That never happened.
No, I was too quiet to get bullied. They probably thought I was shoot it up or something.
It's,
Like I was a quiet, like I got voted most quiet in my class. So like I'm pretty sure it was like, let's be his friend.
yeah, that's that guy's friend. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
scared. What's gonna
yes,
happen?
yeah, for real. 1 through 10, what would you give this movie?
Man, I gotta give it a 10. I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Same here, same here. Uh,
Absolutely.
Very dumb question, but I gotta ask this question.
Sure.
Very, very dumb question, but I gotta ask. Do you believe that this movie has become a part of pop culture?
Oh man, yeah. Like I said earlier, for real, I think it's like one of the keystones of pop culture, uh, in film, especially. It's anything Steven Spielberg had his finger on. I think he only produced this movie, but
Yep.
he read in it enough. Anything Steven Spielberg did in the '80s, especially, that's pop culture to the extreme. Like that's like the first thing you think of is like a Steven Spielberg movie, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is one of the biggest ones.
Yeah. You're 100% right about the Steven Spielberg thing. Like even when you go back and watch like episodes he directed of like the Night Gallery or
Yeah,
anything like that, it's always like he put his touch on everything.
yeah. And I just don't know what that is about him or what part of his brain. It's like he's not trying to be marketable, but he's the most marketable director probably ever. I mean,
Yeah.
he just E.T. I mean, one of the biggest, most well known. I mean, look at that stupid looking alien. He made that thing an international star.
That was the first movie I ever cried watching, and I had no idea why I was crying.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's emotional.
Yeah. I was like, this isn't real at all. Like I remember being like 9 or 10 and like I know this isn't real, but like I'm
Yeah,
crying and this isn't right. Like what
yeah. This
food do
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. What Voodoo's doing? This
yeah.
giant fucked up looking toad thing is making me cry. Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, I have no idea what I'm watching on TNT, but this has got my emotions going crazy.
You cried even when there was commercials. Yeah, they broke up the story, and it still had an effect on you. That's crazy. That's magic.
Nobody should be crying watching a Terminex commercial. You're right, buddy. You're
Man,
100% right.
that's
Uh,
awesome.
well, thank you so much for coming on to the movie review. Is there anything you'd like to say to your fans?
Man, just come on out to the Comedy Zone on Thursdays, and the Radio Room on Wednesday nights as well, and Habiba's on Mondays. Yeah, just look us up and come on out whenever you're free and want to have a good laugh, and come see my guy too, because he is hilarious.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you so much. Um,
Absolutely.
like I said, all three of those rooms are in Greenville, South Carolina. So if you live around the area, or just make a drive down. Habiba's is Monday night, I believe.
That's right.
Wednesday is Radio Room,
That's right.
and then Thursday is the Greenville Comedy Zone.
Mhm.
But yeah, guys, make sure you check that out. Tell them where they can follow you.
You can follow me on Twitter at Kirkland Manning, and on Facebook as well. I'm working on some other platforms, but that's the only ones I got right now.
All right, what's your Twitter name and Facebook name?
It should be just at Kirkland Manning. Not too many people have the name Kirkland, so it was easy to get that one.
Lucky you, buddy.
It's not a very popular name.
I told she's a very sweet woman. Don't think she was trying to pick on you. She was not. But when I told her I told my wife who I was interviewing, she was like, the guy with two last names. I was like,
yep, that's exactly right.
I was like, oh.
Yeah. Peyton Manning, there's the Manning, and then I'm actually named after LaVon Kirkland. He was a Clemson football player from the 80s. So
he was a running back?
He was a linebacker. He played for the Steelers too.
Okay.
And, yeah. But anyway, yep, she's right. Two last names. That's me.
Cool. Well, thank you again for coming on to the movie review. And thank you guys so much for listening, and have an amazing day.
Oh, thank you so much, man.